From the TBD studios, let's talk live with your hosts, Natasha Barrett and Melanie Hastings.
We're talking about capturing incredible images from inside the cockpits of the most sophisticated airplanes ever built for the U.S. military. Eric Hildebrand joins me now to talk about his book. It's called Fly Navy, Celebrating the First Century of Naval Aviation. Such a neat book.
Thank you very much.
Now, you basically for 2 years had such access inside the military. How'd you get that?
Well, it was literally a license to steal, essentially. They gave me a piece of paper that entitled me to go and fly with every type, model, and serial that the Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard are flying today.
Well, I can imagine you don't just walk up and say, hey, I take pictures.
No,
can I come along with you? It must have been a process.
There's definitely a process involved. I've done several other books. In 2006, I did a Tomcat farewell when they were retiring the F-14. So that gave me kind of the entree with the Navy and a little bit of proof of what I was able to do for them. And when the Centennial kind of came up on everybody's radar, I proposed doing a comprehensive book so that it actually covers everything that the Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard are flying.
Pretty impressive. Now, you've flown with the forces that were deployed in Afghanistan. Tell me about that and what you had to deal with during that time.
It was pretty amazing to go over and see just how austere their conditions are over there. I fly with the same units that were deployed. I've flown with them here in the States as well. So going over there and seeing what they're doing in the real world was probably the most interesting, and how remote and difficult logistically it is to maintain that mission.
Was safety ever an issue for you?
Only in Iraq. I had one scare with mortar attack, but other than that, I felt completely safe.
What do you take away now that you've spent time with them, essentially at war, and in a war-torn country with these soldiers? What do you take away that, you know, us Americans that just watch it on TV?
I think that's what you take away, is that they're over there doing all of our heavy lifting for multiple tours over and over and over again. And that's really the purpose or the magic of the book, is it brings back their experiences in their words. They wrote most of the words in the book. So we get to basically ride along and see where they go, what they do, and how they do it. And typically, Americans don't get to do that.
As a guy, you must have been in heaven.
Totally. Yeah.
Talk about for 2 years just having fun looking at these toys.
Yeah, it was the best 2 years. Hard 2 years. It was about 2 trips a month, every month, and then cramming it all into the book. The hardest part really was taking the tens of thousands of pictures that I took for it and putting it into 400 pages, which was hard.
Tens of thousands. We've been showing some of your pictures. Talk about the ones that are up right now.
This was on the Nimitz over in Afghanistan, or actually the Gulf of Oman, kind of south of Pakistan, on an actual mission, chasing them right up to the point of going in country, and then coming back to the boat.
So neat.
Thanks.
Now, you also spent some time in Hawaii, not a bad gig after Afghanistan. I don't know if it came before or after.
No, I timed it correctly.
It was a vacation after Afghanistan,
yeah,
right?
The Blues put their schedule out in the beginning of the year, and when I saw that they were going to be at Kaneohe Bay again, I got my request in early.
Of course, he's talking about the Blue Angels,
right,
which are so cool to be around. How long were you over there, and what did you get to do with them?
I did a practice on Thursday, flight with them for their air show, and I was there for the week. Since I went all the way over there, I wasn't just going to go for a couple of days, so
oh, of course not.
Kind of made it the Finney flight of the project. So,
did you get sick at all?
I didn't on that flight, but I have before. It's not something that I'm immune to at all. Flying in the back seat, if you're not the guy driving the bus, it's pretty easy to make yourself sick.
I've done like the simulators, you know, on base, and that'll get you just enough.
Sure.
I mean, whoa. So out of all of these in the book, what would be a favorite?
Well, the most interesting stuff is some of the unmanned stuff over in the UAE, where I was flying and chasing the Global Hawk, or the BAMS demonstrator, it's called. They're still operated by pilots on the ground, so just because you're going to shoot or cover an unmanned system doesn't mean that you're not going to be working with pilots. You're still working with them. They just don't go in the airplane. They stay on the ground. I
thought what was very interesting about you is you took these 2 years to be with our military. You don't have any military background. Where's the love come from?
Well, I kind of was a frustrated pilot. Always growing up, I thought I was going to be a fighter pilot, and my career just didn't go that direction. So I slowly worked my way back as a photographer to get to experience the things that I always wished I had.
I mean, what an experience it is.
It is.
And these pages, how many pages are in this
It's
book?
almost 400 pages.
This is an awesome coffee table book.
Yeah.
I mean, you just sit through and look through, and it's just, I mean, these pictures are beautiful, but it doesn't compare to being up there, does it?
No. It doesn't,
Yeah.
no.
Whole different
But it's
kind
pretty
of
close.
thing.
It is pretty close.
You still in touch with any of the guys you met over there?
Sure am.
Yeah.
All the time.
They're spending a lot of time over there, and I'm sure being up close and seeing the sacrifices they make it really changes you.
The book really conveys that too. I think you'll see as you go through it just how committed they are and how much they're really believing in their mission.
Well, thanks for throwing a spotlight on it. We appreciate it.
Sure,
And this
thanks for
book
having
looks great. The name of the book, Fly Navy, Celebrating the First Century of Naval Aviation. Eric, good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up on the show, from Dancing with the Stars to Playboy, why Karina Smirnoff decided to show off more than her dance moves. And if you have something to say to us, email us. We're Let's Talk Live at TBD.com. We'll be right back.
You're watching News Channel 8.